Carol, it is zombie time.
Dalek voice, right?
I figured out my Dalek filter. So anyway.
Meow, 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 meow.
So on with the show, shall we?
Yes. Let's see if we can top last week's episode.
Let's see. So, just as a quick summary before we get into the longer summary, this week's Doctor Who was my boyfriend said it was bad, but I thought it was a comedy, so I didn't hate it because it was very funny. I don't know if it was supposed to be, and I remember very little about this week's Walking Dead, so I'm guessing it didn't do anything too spectacular. Wait, no, I remember now. It was because it was basically a big long action sequence, and the only thing to remember was that Carol is badass. So
Yes.
That's
yeah. It was long.
It was a very, very long and awesome episode, but unfortunately there weren't a lot of plot elements to actually memorize. Just the wolves were what were causing the siren alarm, whatever, and Carol fixed it because Carol is Carol, and Carol is the most badass member of the crew. Reddit was all photoshopping Assassin's Creed covers to have Carol on it instead.
I would play that game.
I would play it also. In fact, I want that actress to be in action movies. Just do it.
What about a Walking Dead Assassin's Creed crossover?
I don't know. Next week's episode is going to be a Walking Dead Marvel crossover. As you could see in the teaser, I already posted the audio to my YouTube channel. Rose, did you hear it?
Maybe.
All right, so basically, Iron Man shows up and starts blasting walkers with the crew with the gang, and Jarvis is all like, "Tony, there are walkers on your left. Shoot them in the face."
Well, that's something that our viewers can look forward to then.
Yeah, I kind of promised the viewers that I titled that episode next week on Time Cats this, and so now I guess we need to talk about it a little.
But yeah, the Doctor Who, I liked the Doctor Who episode last week. It was
Wait, last week. Wait, okay, we're talking about the girl who died, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I found that episode quite fun. It reminded me a bit of the Robin Hood episode.
Yes.
Which was a good romp in the past.
I really like.
In historical times.
I really liked that the doctor was all like, "You don't exist. History says you don't exist. Oh, I guess you're real. Or a robot. I have a spoon."
That's the Doctor.
The doctor uses spoons to fight with swords. I love it.
But the most exciting parts came towards the end. We learned why the Doctor got his faith.
On the one hand, I am disappointed because I thought that the explanation was going to be way more epic, but I am satisfied with the explanation we got.
Yes, I am too, and I also love the fact that they alluded back to they showed David Tennant back in.
They are showing the previous Doctors a lot more often now.
Yes, they are, and also I love this whole thing about the about this girl is now immortal, because I'm not sure if it's just going to be a plot in the next episode, or if this is going to be the ongoing plot, and she's going to wind up to be the Minister of War.
Ooh.
And also remember the ending episodes of this season are both titled Heaven and Hell.
Right. And another thing. Missy delivered a prophecy or whatever to the Doctor, indicating that he's going to create hybrids of stuff. And the Doctor at the end of this episode, he was all like, "Oh, she's now a hybrid. Oops, hybrids."
Yeah, and she's also. I mean, Another thing that's interesting is the fact that this is not the first time we've seen someone who's basically immortal. We've had Jack Harkness,
Yeah.
and are we gonna have this lady and Jack Harkness together?
No.
Because I kind of feel like we have to bring back Jack Harkness now,
Yeah, you would think that we'd bring back Jack Harkness at some point, but apparently no. There are no plans to bring him back ever.
and that's just unfortunate.
That is
Jack.
okay. So like, the director of the show that he was on at the time the 50th anniversary was going on actually told the BBC, "Hey, I am willing to put my show on hiatus just so Jack Harkness can be in this. Just do it. Just do it." And you know what they didn't do?
But Jack Harkness.
They didn't put Jack Harkness in it because I don't know.
And the spin-off and the Doctor Who spin-off Torchwood is still on hiatus
Yeah,
indefinitely.
yeah, that might as well be canceled at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I really liked I've only watched
I haven't gotten around to watch.
Laser.
I haven't gotten around to watching Torchwood.
I've only watched the one that they did the season that they did together with was it HBO?
I don't recall.
But I watched that one. The one. And that one was interesting. Do you mind if I spoil that what happened at the end?
I know most of what happens in Torchwood. Go ahead.
Jack's immortality ggets passed on to
Everybody, yes.
well, not everybody, but I mean, because it wasn't, but they managed to stop that and stop that whole immortality thing, but also the immortality in that season wasn't the same as Jack's, because people if they got fatal injury, they would stay comatose or they would stay in pain or whatever, but they would still just wouldn't die,
Oh,
and that's different from Jack.
that sounds like an everlasting hell.
Yes, it was. It sounded awful, but ultimately what happens is they stopped that. But because while this whole weird mixture of stuff was going on, while this whole thing was going on, Jack had donated some blood to someone, and because of the whole magical things of that thing that they shut down, the guy who he did a blood donation to, wound up having the immortality infused him. So now there's another person like Jack who has the same immortality.
Wonderful.
And we learned this at the end of the series because he gets shot to death, and he doesn't die, and he just heals just like Jack does.
Huh.
And who was that? I know there was a. I know it was a famous actor.
Peter Capaldi was in it. Peter Capaldi was in Torchwood also. So that's another reason they should bring back Captain Jack, because he could be all like, "Hey, Doctor, oh, why do you look like that guy? Wasn't he like the villain?"
I think so. I don't really remember too much. I mean, and again, I didn't watch most of the Torchwood series. I only saw that one, and that one didn't have most of the people in it.
But anyway, yeah. So, this is actually a pretty empty podcast.
It's sad. It's sad, Conan. It's sad.
I don't understand the reference.
Conan O'Brien.
Oh yeah, Conan O'Brien. He exists. Good for him.
Conan, it's sad.
Good for him doing existence. He's probably okay. Anyway, let's see.
Did you see the crossover video that it was actually I probably saw that. I probably saw it from your timeline. You saw the Back to the Future Doctor Who crossover.
Yes. It wasn't a crossover. It was the Doctor Who intro made out of clips of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it was Back to the Future done in.
Right, that's something we should. I meant to talk about this at the beginning of the podcast.
Mekhi Phifer.
Back to the Future Day happened.
Yes.
Back to the Future 2 officially takes place in the past as of yesterday, as of this recording. I actually did get around to watching Back to the Future 1 and 2 yesterday. I haven't watched 3 yet, because yesterday was my recording session with Liam for his channel, and I barely had enough time to watch the first two movies.
Wait, you've never watched them
Oh
before?
no, I have. I was just rewatching
Okay.
them because it's Back to the Future Day. It felt appropriate because I couldn't do anything else. And there is actually a surprising amount of things in Back to the Future 2 that we do have now. So they were they were surprisingly good at predicting shit. Uh, a lot of the shit, the cooler shit, we did not actually have until that day. Like they are apparently Toyota has come out with a car as of yesterday that runs sort of on garbage.
Interesting.
Like it has a garbage disposal, and the chemical reaction from from destroying the garbage fuels the car.
That's pretty
That
neat.
is pretty neat. And Nike has finally worked out how to make the power laces of the self-tying shoes work. I don't know why that took so long. Hoverboards, if we could actually make them the way they are presented in the movie, are incredibly inefficient. So I don't think we're gonna have that for a while.
Hmm.
Um, I watched like a million vlogs about Back to the Future after the recording was over, and apparently the running theory is that Marty actually changed the timeline uh, from our own reality because he rode a piece of wood with wheels stuck to it like a skateboard in 1955 before skateboards were invented, and apparently that caused a butterfly effect the going theory is that it caused Steve Jobs to become fascinated with skateboards instead of cell phones. So the hoverboard was created instead of the iPhone, and that's why they have hoverboards and apparently don't have cell phones.
I've got a better theory for you.
Yes.
If you're trying to put if you're trying to put Back to the Future theory, because you see everything in Back to the Future, because you saw how in in the first Back to the Future, how about how a little minor thing like changing the way his parents hooked up completely changed his parents' lives, and also changed the future in some ways too, because his father became a famous author,
Yes.
and that caused in Back to the Future 2. They were even in Back to the Future 2's 2015. How they were even how even his movie was being remade in 2015. So the movie that they made about his book was being remade, but you have to remember in one thing at the end of Back to the Future Part 3.
I haven't rewatched 3 yet. I don't remember a lot about it.
Well, the basically the 2015 in Back to the Future Part 2 no longer exists as of the end of Back to the Future Part 3.
Yes.
Because Back to the Future Part 2, that future happened because Marty McFly got into an accident that caused him to be disabled.
Hmm.
But so that caused him to give up on his on a lot of his dreams and such and like that. But Back to the Future Part 3, they undo that. So Marty McFly doesn't become disabled, and that could create a lot of ripple effects because he might go on to actually have a career. Who knows what career
Now, when you're
might go on
saying
to
Marty
get.
McFly, you mean Marty, right? Not his dad. His dad's name is George.
Yeah, I mean Marty. Marty did not get into that accident.
Okay, so you're saying that Marty actually had a disability I didn't know about.
Well, what happened is that is that not only in only the original 2015 version of him, because when they go into the future
Yes.
and they meet old Marty.
Yes.
Old Marty has a disability
Right. I'd been
because he got into a massive car
right. He
accident.
had difficulty playing guitar when he was practicing. A lot of people pointed out how uncomfortable that is to watch, knowing what happened to Michael J. Fox.
Yeah,
So
but
that might have actually been another weird prediction on their part.
Yeah, but he gets into an accident, and that causes him to be unable to play and unable to pursue his dreams, and he pretty much goes into a depressive rut and kind of doesn't succeed very well. But that changes at the end of Back to the Future 3. The car crash he was supposed to get into, he doesn't get into because he overcomes the his problem where he can't where he reacts when and someone calls him a chicken.
Yeah.
He overcomes that at the end, and so he doesn't get into that accident, and so that changes his life, and that could potentially change the time stream. So
Okay, so as of
our reality could actually be a post Back to the Future 3 reality.
okay, that makes sense.
And that's what and because Marty went on to become popular in the 80s. Maybe he went on to become, maybe he joined Apple, who knows, or maybe his band had so many multi-promotional gigs that I don't know. But whatever happened with Marty not getting into that accident caused there to not be 19 Jaw sequels, caused the technology to shift away from all that other stuff and shift more towards the internet.
We do have a lot of the stuff that was presented, though. Like,
That
for
is true.
instance, Skype is presented to be a thing in Back to the Future too. I think it's Marty. Marty has a Skype interview with his boss or whatever, a Skype call with his boss on a flat screen widescreen TV, which was also not a thing in 1985, 1989.
But let's be fair. Was that really a Skype done over the internet, or was that just a video conference call?
Well, they didn't have those regular. Just this was in his house, so like that. This
Yes,
this
but notice how they also had fax machines everywhere. That was probably over. That was probably a video teleconference, not an internet teleconference, because they might not have had the internet in Marty's 2015.
Okay, but what I am saying is that video calls weren't really a thing that were commonplace to do back then. So
That's
they
true.
did predict that it would be a lot easier to just call people over video.
Yes, they
A
did.
lot of people have been complaining that fax machines aren't still around, so that's something they got wrong. But I
Well,
have to deal with Social Security on every couple of days, and I am well aware that they still use fax machines at social services departments.
and again, this is take what I'm saying here with a grain of salt because I'm about to be talking about a country that I've never been to, but I've been told, this is hearsay. I have been told that Japan still has a heavy reliance on fax machines.
Hmm. They do like technology over there, so
That there's I forget the reason, but for some reason that they still have a heavy emphasis in their in business and stuff on fax machine. So and and also wasn't Marty's boss Japanese in Back to the Future Part
I
Two?
think so. Yes. So that would also
So that could also explain why he had a lot of fax
so
machines.
that would be another reason. Yes. So there is perfectly logical explanations for why Marty still has several fax machines.
Well, that
Um,
doesn't explain why he has several fax machines.
No. And while there isn't a Jaws 19, they did
There is Left Shark.
they did well. There's that too. They did predict that we'd still be making lots of shark movies, and that horror movies would end up with even more sequels than Jaws. I think 4. Like Saw had 8 movies. Friday the 13th had about 9, 12. A lot. It had a lot. So, and Marty also points out that even though the 3D shark is terrifying, it still looks fake. Um, and from what I can tell, 3D is much. It was not as commonplace back then, and it can still be interpreted as we have very impressive, terrifying 3D effects that don't look very well if you think about them for 5 seconds. Let's see.
But none of them look as bad as Left Shark did.
No. They also
Is that
predicted.
Jaw Shark?
I think they also predicted Google glasses, although theirs look much more stylistic and better. Back to the Future.
And another thing
I
they
want
didn't.
tiny pizzas that can be made into big pizzas in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
And that
I want rehydrators.
and those pizzas seem to come in more varieties than what we have now. Because I tried buying a box. I tried buying mini pizzas a few days ago at Walmart, and the pizza selection I had here was pepperoni, sausage, pepperoni and sausage, cheese. That's it.
No, not even Supreme.
Well, pepperoni and sausage was supreme. I was making a joke.
Oh,
But yeah, so if you want variety, it's got to be a large pizza. But the thing about large pizzas is they are large. But see, science says that see, you could probably make a probably make a tiny pizza that turned into a big pizza, but it would probably taste like shit.
mm.
Let's see.
Speaking of Back to the Future, there's a Back to the Future video that's now some people are now it's not fair to call it a parody because it's not these are what people actually believe, but they're not trying to but it's not a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory saying that the people who made the movie knew about 9/11. What it is these people have created a religion. I forget what it's called. It's mysticism something. It's something mysticism that they're calling, and basically they have a belief that that everyone has a shared consciousness, and that shared consciousness even flows through time, and that there are little hints, and that we receive little hints that affect our thinking, and that there are 9/11 predictors, all throughout the movie that
Um.
foretell 9/11,
Okay.
and it's complete garbage.
Yeah, I've.
It also works it also works off of a very racist understanding of the Middle East and of Muslims that doesn't comprehend that there are 1 billion. There are over 1 billion Muslims. Then not all of them are the same. So it allows Libyans to be interchanged with Al Qaeda, which is a big no-no because the only thing that they really shared was the fact that they're both Sunni.
Yeah.
But
The the ex.
Gaddafi did not like Bin Laden
Okay.
because Gaddafi was in alliance with the Soviet Union, and Bin Laden fought the Soviet Union. And Gaddafi in 1998 was the first one to issue an Interpol warrant for Bin Laden because Gaddafi did not like Bin Laden. Trying to make out that the Libyans in Back to the Future is a prediction of Al Qaeda in 2001 is offensive. It's saying it's again portraying all Islam is the same,
Yeah.
and even people we didn't like in the 1980s are not the same people that we didn't like in the
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah.
Matter
But
of fact, in the 80s we were giving weapons to future Al Qaeda
yeah.
and Bin Laden.
Yeah, Back to the Future wasn't trying to make a statement when they put Libyan terrorists in their movie. They didn't want to put terrorists in the movie. Originally, Doc Brown had stolen the plutonium himself and was shot and was gunned down by a SWAT team. The producers of the movie didn't like that because I don't know, propaganda can't portray the government as being bad guys, I guess. So instead the movie was shot. It was Doc Brown stole the plutonium from terrorists who already stole it, and they shot him down.
Which becomes propaganda in the other direction but the reason why it was Libyans was because Libyans were in the news
Yeah.
back then.
Back to the Future.
Reagan and had a lot of conflict with Libya.
Yeah. Back to the Future had a very, very troubled production cycle. I've been listening to a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Apparently Michael J. Fox was on a sitcom at the time, and so they were only able to film scenes, but basically they were only allowed to use him in the movie, provided it didn't interrupt his filming schedule for that sitcom. So the scenes of that took place during the day with him in them had to be shot over the weekend when the show didn't film, and when he was done filming the sitcom, he had to just uh, take a nap and be carried over to the Back to the Future set, wake up, film the movie, go back to sleep, be carried back to the yeah. So yeah, it is amazing how I did not notice that throughout the whole movie. But yeah, so that's how that happened, and the terrorists and appar- surprisingly, with how tight the movie is, at no point during the entire trilogy does Robert Zemeckis actually explain how Doc Brown and Marty are friends. That was apparently also a production thing where
That wound up on the cutting room floor.
it wound up on the cutting room floor because they couldn't really figure out how to portray it and just assumed that the audience would
But
just go.
he's talked about it since about why.
Yeah.
But
I really wouldn't mind like a prequel or something setting it up because it's a very good premise.
Cartoon
It's
series.
a very
I mean, back in the '80s and '90s, everything had cartoon series. That show didn't get a cartoon series, but we can give Back to the Future. I think today
there was
we
a
can
Back
give
to
it for Netflix.
there
Huh?
wasn't there a Back to the Future cartoon?
I don't think there was, surprisingly. There was a cartoon for everything else, but I don't think Back to the Future had its cartoon.
I'm googling it. I'm sure there was, but yeah, I really because like the origin of Marty and Doc Brown is pretty interesting enough by itself, but like I can understand Robert Zemeckis doesn't apparently want to make any more movies in the Back to the Future franchise, and I can
So
understand.
was there a cartoon?
Oh, right, cartoon. I need to look that up. Right. So like yeah, yeah,
Because I was thinking what they can do is because Back to the Future surprisingly didn't get its own cartoon
it did.
series. It did.
Yeah, CGI cartoon in the 90s,
How late in the '90s?
early 90s.
So Back to the Future, huh? A CGI though? You mean like Transformers was?
No, 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 no. I'm sorry. The poster that was on the Wikipedia page looked like CGI. No, it's traditional animation. It takes place after the third movie with the main cast and Doc Brown's kids and his wife and all that, and the dog.
Oh,
And Bill Not
yeah.
and
This looks pretty lame actually.
there were live action segments. Christopher Lloyd was Doc Brown and Bill Nye was his lab assistant for some reason.
Because Bill Nye was popular back then.
Uh,
Well, he still is, but yeah, he was at the.
yeah.
But But they should do a proper '80s style Back to the Future cartoon, complete with
Yeah, Robert Zemeckis doesn't seem to be opposed to cartoons or spin-offs or anything. Just don't make more movies.
So what I think they should do is they should make for Netflix.
Yeah,
They should make a cartoon series that's done in the style of the Peter Pan cartoon from the '80s,
yeah,
and they should do it in that animation style, and it should take place before the first movie.
yeah. Netflix has been doing series now that make no sense. So I could see them doing this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fuller House.
Yeah, Fuller House. Yeah.
There's a new Peabody and Sherman show. It's on Netflix. Oh, also, I didn't notice Peabody. There's a Peabody and Sherman reference in this and Back to the Future because Twin Pines Mall is owned by a Mr. Peabody, and one of his sons is named Sherman.
And Twin Pines Mall becomes Lone Pine Mall after Marty runs over the tree.
I think I knew that.
But that's in in that whole Back to the Future predicts 9/11, they insist that the Twin Pines Mall, the Twin Pines, are the Twin Towers,
That is
and
that is really reaching, considering there are so many movies that actually contain references to 9/11.
yeah, but they say that that the Twin Pines are the Twin Towers, and that when it becomes the Lone Pines, that's the tower that's there now, the Freedom Plaza Tower or whatever, and that at the time that they arrive at the mall at 1:16, if you flip it over, it's 9/11. And that the Libyan terrorists are a stand-in for the terrorist attacks of 9/11, and so that the whole opening scene is actually a dramatic is actually the whole opening scene where Doc Brown gets shot and everything is actually referencing 9/11 and the Twin Towers falling.
Do you think the BBC and AMC purposely made this week's Doctor Who and Walking Dead have not a lot of content to talk about specifically, so us two specifically could just do a podcast about Back to the Future this week?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that seems like it's like I really think we should get back on track talking about the things that the title card is about. Cause you've seen my new title card, right?
What's wrong? What's wrong with talking? What's wrong? It was Back to the Future Day yesterday. What's wrong with talking about Back to the Future?
I don't know. We've already been talking about it for half an hour,
That's
and
true.
I don't want to talk about 9/11 anymore.
Okay, so you want to let's talk about The Walking Dead then.
Oh, right. The cheese was mentioned.
Yeah, it was a cheesemaker who taught
Yeah, from a cheesemaker.
what's his character's name? Morgan.
Morgan. Yes.
Yeah.
Scott Gimple wasn't joking. Morgan actually learned how to become a bow staff wielding Zen master, and it had something to do with cheese. And
He probably tried to steal the cheesemaker's cheese. Let's be honest. He probably tried to steal the cheese.
cheese, cheese.
There's probably not a lot of good cheese in the Walking Dead world anymore.
Yeah.
That's
Or
unfortunate.
maybe it's even better because some cheese tastes better with age.
Yeah, when kept in the proper temperature.
Oh yeah. A lot of
Um,
Doctor Who, all the missing Doctor Who episodes are gone forever now. In the Walking Dead universe, I'm sure there's still hope for us. But anyway, and so I started to worry that oh shit, all this is happening, and Rick, Daryl, and the other badass ones are all off doing stuff that's also important. But this is happening now, and then I remembered Carol was around. They're fine. Carol is way more badass than all of those guys put together.
yeah, Carol is badass,
Yeah,
but Morgan's pretty badass too.
Morgan is pretty badass too. So I wasn't worried at all about Alexandria because it's like wow. Yeah, I'm a bit
But
disappointed.
a lot of people died.
A lot of
People
a
died
lot of
if they'd been there.
a lot of people died, but at least Carol was around to make sure that less people died than would have died if not for the presence of Carol and Morgan. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a bit disappointed that Carol's grandma routine is no longer a thing that she was pretending to just be this cute old lady this whole time, specifically because she wanted everyone to underestimate her because that's her steal. But now she can't.
But let's
Now she can't do that
let's
anymore.
be fair though. After this wolves attack, assuming that they survive assuming that they survive the mega horde that's coming towards them.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to.
Yeah, they might have to move, but assuming they manage to survive that, they're after that wolves attack. I think the rest of the rest of the people are gonna have to are figured out now that they're gonna need to buckle down and follow Rick's group in their training, and that there's not really going to be much of a need to blend as a housewife anymore after the or a homemaker after the
That's good because while I absolutely loved that Carol was committing so much to this role, I really would rather just her be badass the whole time.
Well, that's the thing. She was able to do both.
Yeah, she was, and that was great.
It was almost like a spy movie.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, but
Yes.
I somehow I really doubt Alexandria is going to hold up against that horde, even with the combined forces of.
Well, the only thing that they can do is, I mean, they have to find some way to get the horde to go away,
Yeah,
which
that's not gonna
which
happen.
which might be possible if they find another truck with a loud horn.
Look, they needed an entire episode to get those things away, and then it fucked up. Then the plan got all fucked up.
But
So
they're probably going to try to do something because obviously those walls are not going to hold that mega horde.
not anymore. They might have for maybe a minute or two if it wasn't for that truck smashing into it. But that's
that's
not
true.
no. They can probably just walk up it now. It's probably like a ramp.
Yeah, and it's not going to last, and even being even if the walls were able to last for like a month or whatever, they wouldn't survive a month because then that horde would just be around, would just surround the town, and they'd have no way to get out and get supplies.
Yeah. So they're pretty much
they've
so
got,
that's not gonna end well for somebody. Someone's gonna die. Someone important's probably gonna die.
yeah, so they're either going to have to flee Alexandria or I don't know. Is that truck still in working condition?
Probably not. Well, maybe actually.
Because if it is, it clearly has a loud horn. So if they manage to get it back on the path, they can use that. They can use that.
Yeah, if it still works, then there's a chance that they could survive.
Possibly, but yeah. Assuming but there's also a big problem about that too, is the fact that will they have to drive that. Would they have to drive? Which direction is the zombies coming from? Are they coming from that main road there? Because if they are,
I want to
they
say
have
that
to drive
I want to
that
say
truck.
that the direction they were headed was west, or
And so it's not going to come directly down the path,
probably
that
not.
road.
It's not gonna be pretty.
Because even if the truck was built, if they have to, that truck would not survive driving through that super horde.
No, I don't think anything would. There's gonna be a it's gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, and
Doctor Who's gonna be a doozy also.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
we've got a lot to be excited about this weekend.
Yeah.
What is today? Today Thursday?
I lose track. I think today's yeah. I recorded with Liam yesterday, so yesterday was Wednesday, so today's was Thursday.
Yeah. But also, earlier we were talking about Doctor Who and how someone else got Jack Harkness's powers.
Yes.
Or immortality. That was Rex Matheson, who was played by Mekhi Phifer.
Ah.
And so again, it would, and apparently I was reading about it a little bit while we were talking about Wiki, and apparently at one point he becomes in some of the proses. Those are audiobooks, right? The prose, or what are the prose? PROSE.
PROSE. I think that stands for the audio plays.
Wait, no, they have audio. They also have audio here. What's
That
the
might
prose?
be a that might be a
Prose is
book. Books. Doctor Who.
short stories. Yeah, it's a book.
Short stories. Yes.
Yeah. And so he eventually becomes Rex Matheson eventually becomes the deputy director of the CIA.
Okay.
But yeah, I would definitely like an episode that has all these immortal characters. I mean that have, because Doctor Who has been ignoring its spinoff, and it's sad.
Hmm.
Do you think that they should bring Jack Harkness back?
Yes, I love that character, and they really need to use him more often.
And do you think they should bring Rex Matheson along with them?
Sure, why not? Just, yeah. It's like, use the 50-year history of this show. Make more episodes referencing previous things.
I mean, just imagine having a CIA director in the TARDIS.
My word, it's bigger on the inside. I don't know if I'm British. I don't watch Torchwood. Is that guy British?
No, he's American.
Oh. My word! For some reason, I have a British accent! Okay, so I know I was the one who said we should stop talking about Back to the Future, but I would like to point out that Doc Brown and the Doctor are both playable in Lego Dimensions, the new Lego game. So basically, you can have the Doctor in the DeLorean or Doc Brown in the TARDIS or both, whatever.
That would be an interesting crossover.
Yeah, surprised they haven't done something like that yet, in canon of something yet.
Yeah.
It'd be neat. Um,
But then again, do you think the Doctor would let a CIA director into the TARDIS? Let's be honest.
considering how pissed off he was having an ex-soldier or a current soldier, just he gets pissed off whenever anybody gets in the TARDIS that has anything to do with guns in their profession.
But
So,
then again, he did let Nixon in the TARDIS.
hmm,
He let Richard Milhouse Nixon in the TARDIS. So
good point.
and that one guy that they were working with in the Lake Silenci episodes was FBI or former FBI.
Right? Yes, yes. So, I think those were extenuating circumstances that I can't recall at this time.
But would you really want? I mean, I would be first thing I'd be afraid of letting a CIA agent in there is that they'd bug the hell out of it. Not to mention this is the CIA in the Doctor Who world, which means they might have access to alien technology.
I'm gonna say that the Doctor probably didn't have much to worry about the Richard Nixon era CIA having enough alien technology to fuck with the TARDIS.
Yeah, but what about Rex Matheson in the current CIA?
Right. The current CIA, the more contemporary CIA, he'd probably have a problem with. So maybe. I mean, maybe not.
And also the TARDIS doesn't exactly like immortals in it anyway. I mean, you saw how pissed off it got with Jack.
Yeah, the TARDIS basically hates everything that is permanent or everlasting.
Yeah, it also didn't like the wait, did its cloister bells go off in the last episode?
The cloister bell went off during the ghost thing. Yes. The
But didn't we start out with the cloister bells at the beginning of this week's episode? But that might have been for something else, wasn't it?
I don't recall. I don't recall hearing the
Yeah,
cloister bell.
the cloister bells were going on when he was trying to save Clara from the space.
Oh.
At the beginning. But why would? But they didn't exactly explain why. Because the cloister bells are only supposed to go out with huge emergencies. So I wonder if that had something to do with if the
My brain probably blocked that out because of how stupid it sounds. It doesn't really sound good. Um, I would imagine the cloister bell would go off when the TARDIS meets out with Ashilda again, when the Doctor meets out with her again. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine what they could have been doing before this episode started that would have upset the TARDIS. But
Unless the TARDIS knew that they were where they were about to go.
I
The
will
TARDIS can preemptively do. Why not?
I will say that Ashilda may not have actually been deserving of such help from the Doctor. Because Clara was about to talk that fake Odin guy off the planet, and she was all like, "No, we will fight you, even though you just drank our greatest warriors." So
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure that what happened to Hilda is necessarily a good thing. I mean, the Doctor knows better than anyone how much of a curse it is.
well,
to
see,
have,
but the thing is, he thought it was a good thing while for a minute. He was all like, "Wait a minute, I save people! I'm going to save her!" And then after he did it, he realized, "Oh shit, I fucked up."
Yeah, because the question is when he encounters her again hundreds of years later, when everyone she knows and loves is dead, and she's had to watch countless generations die, will she still be thanking him then, or will she curse him?
That's another problem I have with the Pompey face thing, because if the Doctor's face is to remind him that he saves people, he didn't do a good job saving Ashilda, because immortality is the exact opposite of saving someone. So yeah,
But on the other hand, Jack Harkness. By the way, let's count how many times I can say Jack Harkness before I accidentally say Jack Atlas from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, shall we?
you say.
But yeah, Jack Harkness. seemed to have adapted to his immortality well, and didn't seem to hate the Doctor for it. But
Well, yeah,
then again, Jack Harkness was a different character.
Jack Harkness was a time-traveling adventurer. Immortality would probably be really fun for him. The Doctor seems to have a lot of fun with it most of the time, and
Yeah.
his thing is only semi-immortality,
But yeah,
which is probably why he
yeah,
has fun with
I
it.
can't. But again, I mean, especially her character. I mean, her character talked about how much she loved the town, how much she wanted to stay in the town forever, and she did. She probably got to stay up with the town and watch it grow and evolve and with time. But yeah, I don't know if even the town's still around. If
Well, we'll find out.
if she got to witness its destruction too, but she might very well come to curse the Doctor and hate him
Yeah,
and become one of his worst
I really
villains.
like the idea of her being the Minister of War. I hope that's what it turns out.
Yeah, she who knows, you know?
Yeah,
Who knows?
the
Yeah,
nose
but
knows.
yes. So anyway,
Uh,
before we close things up,
oh,
let's
wait, we were closing.
well, we're probably getting to the time we have to close. But before we close,
Mhm.
let's talk about something that should probably be talked about and might not have been done well, but should needs to be talked about anyway. Doctor Who video games.
Ah, yes, they need better ones.
Yes, because I think that they could pull off a good Doctor Who game, but they have to. But one of the key things is it will not be like they need to go more in the direction of Aliens Isolation,
Yeah,
and the fact that you're probably not going to be killing a whole lot of things. It's probably going to be involving a lot of puzzles, running, and hiding.
yeah. Or Telltale game, they could do that too.
Well, yeah, that would work too. But I really want to see I really want to see a kind of like a horror game almost like with because the Doctor has a screwdriver but only uses the screwdriver and it's not a weapon.
Yeah, so like, yeah, just the Alien Isolation. Go, do it. Come on. BBC.
Yes,
BBC, making a Doctor Who video game's not as hard as you seem to think it is.
yeah, it's just a matter of who you're willing to license it out to license the rights to, and I think who did Aliens Isolation? I know Sega was involved, but who was
Let's
the
see.
development team
Uh,
behind?
let's see. Alien Isolation. I'm a bit confused how and why Sega has the exclusive publishing rights to Alien video games, but let's see. The game was made by Creative
Creative
Assembly.
Assembly.
Yes, and let's see.
So
They
let's have
made. I'm trying to see what games they make. They mostly make. They are apparently mostly known for the Total War series.
Total War. That's Creative Assembly. They also are in Britain. They were founded in the United Kingdom.
Let's see.
Although they're now owned by Sega, but they are a British company.
So aside from the Total War games, those games and Alien Isolation seems to be the only noticeable thing they've really worked on. They're also
but yeah, they should.
they're also apparently making Halo Wars 2.
But yeah, they could have the team that did Aliens Isolation, and give them the Doctor Who rights and have them do a horror. Okay. Assuming they did that, which Doctor do you think it should be, and which companions?
It depends on really the tone they want to go for. If they're going for Alien Isolation, it should probably be maybe Eccleston or Smith. I mean, or
I
Capaldi,
was
or Capaldi. I don't know why I didn't
I
say
was
that
I
one.
was I was yeah I was thinking Matt Smith and the
You
Pawns.
know what? Basically any doctor will fit,
That's
honestly.
true.
But as for companion, I don't know. Maybe a character customizer option. I guess I can't really decide between companions. There are just too many.
Or it's possible that it's one that has no companions with him at all. That's also a thing
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah. The doctor just goes solo on this. That would be fun too. Yeah.
Or the companions in the TARDIS giving information to them, and they're not actually
Yeah,
seeing them.
there's just all sorts of options you can go for here. And like you can have all of the doctors represented as like alternate costumes or some shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. or heaven forbid DLC.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that, but
Saying DLC, yeah, but that's obviously what would happen.
yeah, that is obviously what would happen. I'm surprised Lego Dimensions, with being a Toys to Life game, I'm surprised it actually went and didn't make all 13 Doctors into separate characters you needed to buy. Which is bad because I would have actually been all for that because all of the characters in Lego Dimensions are going to be physical Lego minifigures. So like, yeah,
On that end, though, why not have it the War Doctor?
the war. Oh yeah, the War Doctor would.
Because he that was played by John Hurt, who was in the Aliens franchise, and if we're making it like Aliens Isolation, why not have it John Hurt?
Because
And it can involve
because
one of these horrible things that they made during the Time War.
because the Doctor didn't like the Alien movies. But oh wait, whoa. Last week I actually meant to bring up something that came up immediately after we recorded the podcast 2 weeks ago. I found out Big Finish has finally been licensed to do audio plays with John Hurt, which means they are going to be doing a Time War series.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yes, the Doctor does not like the Alien movies, so that is why they
He
won't.
found it racist or xenophobic.
You have a movie called Alien. No wonder you get invaded all the time. That's horribly offensive.
Yeah.
When I first heard about the Alien movie, I also thought it was dumb for that exact reason. Like as soon as we make first contact with aliens, practically all of our Alien movies are going to be very uncomfortable because I'm sure when we meet aliens, they're going to resemble something we've put in a movie before.
Or will they?
I'm actually really, really hoping that when we encounter aliens, I keep saying if. No, I want it to be when. When we finally meet aliens, I don't want them to resemble anything we've come up with before. I want them to be something completely alien to us. Because that's what alien means. But yeah, the same with but anyway, yeah, it's probably
I'm imagining in my head right now. I'm imagining various scenarios of Doctor Who, but done like Alien Isolation, and yeah, I think the Time War would be perfect for it because the Time War is filled with weapons of temporal destruction.
The Time War is basically the best way to make an action game out of Doctor Who because it is a whole bunch of unfilmable stuff. You can basically do whatever you want with it.
Well, it wouldn't even be an action. It would be again what
action, horror, survival, whatever.
It's called action, adventure, stealth, and survival horror. Yeah, because because even if it just takes place in a facility like Aliens Isolation did, I mean it could have a whole lot of temporal time shifting going on through it because it's in the time war.
Everyone involved with Doctor Who behind the scenes has gone on the record stating that the Time War is an unfilmable mess. There is no way to make an actual show out of it, which means there is literally no limit to what they could actually do with it. So if you're going to set something in the Doctor Who time period, that you don't even have to pretend it doesn't even have to be canon. Just do it. Time War. I want it. John Hurt. Just Nightmare Child. There could be
or something some monstrous time absorbing entity.
Also reuse the time. Also, I want time zombies. I like the time zombies. From that episode with the TARDIS that no one likes, except me.
I don't think anyone would want time zombies.
I like the
zombies are too overdone in video games.
Well, the time zombies weren't actually zombies; they were burn victims. The wiki just calls them time zombies.
And but they weren't just burn victims. They were burned by temporal energy, weren't they? They were actually affected by time and.
Yeah, but the point is, I liked them. They were cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that reminds me. I watched Inside Out a few weeks ago, and I bring that up because I mentioned in a previous episode of the podcast that the Boneless were one of my favorite new Doctor Who monsters, and I want to see them again. And I really like when three-dimensional characters interact with two-dimensional space in fiction. I'm fascinated with the subject of multidimensional physics.
Yeah,
And
I'm hoping that I'm hoping they'll be back this season.
And Inside Out has a scene that takes place in a room that represents Riley's abstract thought. So all the three-dimensional characters start regressing into simpler and simpler three-dimensional shapes until they become two-dimensional shapes and are unable to progress to the exit of this room because it is now because there is no third dimension now. But luckily, it is now directly above them because that's how perspective works in two dimensions. And it's very trippy. It's very trippy and hard to explain. Just just listeners probably should watch the movie. It's yeah. Inside Out was pretty good. Oh
So anyway, as we come to a close here now.
oh yeah. Sorry. I
Um.
oh yeah.
And the fun thing. Okay, so we're actually in.
We're not even an hour in yet.
We're not.
We got 59. We're up to 59:26. So we got 30 seconds.
But so next week we're gonna have it's gonna be a crossover with Marvel, right?
Yeah,
With
Marvel. Probably just Iron Man. We were all expecting the first comic book franchise The Walking Dead crossed over with to be another Image Comics property, but nope, Iron Man.
But also next week is gonna have to be our Halloween episode.
Oh yeah, next week is a Halloween episode, right?
So but yeah, I think we need to talk about doing something special in terms of the format.
What about a parody of of the Democratic debates?
We already did that.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, I was wondering what that was. That we did, whatever that was.
But anyway, we can go over that in the thing. I'm thinking maybe something Elvira-ish.
I'm drawing a blank on who that is.
You can basically Elvira is
No, don't tell me. How do you spell it?
I think it's Elvira.
Oh, oh. Okay, I know who. Okay,
Where we have a spooky host,
okay.
and it goes into it, and we can play the whole thing like a horror movie.
It's like a movie. It's a big movie show.
Which is perfect because horror movies don't make a lot of sense, and the progression of our shows don't make a lot of sense.
Hello.
So, whoa, what was that?
What? I sang a song.
But the sound is going berserk on me.
Sorry.
All right. So anyway, so yeah, next week we'll have to come up with something special for our viewers, and hopefully become a more exciting be a more exciting episode like last week's.
Yeah, last week was really good. I'm actually kind of disappointed by today's podcast, but
yeah, we need to work something out so it's so that they can be exciting.
Yeah, I was actually so hyped up about the podcast last week because it turned out so well, and
yeah, I've advertised it on my Twitter account repeatedly.
Yeah, and I hyped up this episode with the Iron Man thing, and now I'm worried our listeners are going to be disappointed. I don't even know if we have listeners. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Our highest viewed video is our first one.
I'm sure
with 23 viewers.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Once we have more developed fan base, they'll exist, and yeah, so we'll be fine.
Once we get that coveted Draw Talk crossover.
Yeah, and then we'll join the podcast baseball league, and we'll compete with Wordfunk and Night Vale for the coveted baseball trophy. I don't know where I'm going with this.
If you want to turn it into a baseball podcast, I know.
No, I mean like that joke that every industry has a softball league that competing companies all have a baseball team that they compete with each other.
But ours would be a video game baseball league, right?
Oh yeah, we'll go with that. Yes. Yes.
where we play baseball video games instead of actually going outside.
How is it we're talking about baseball now and we were talking about Back to the Future earlier and we didn't mention that the most ludicrous thing that Back to the Future predicted was that the Cubs would win.
But in Back to the Future timeline, the Cubs were a good team.
Yeah, but in our timeline, the Cubs apparently sucked for for almost 100 years, and then suddenly this year, they are now apparent. I don't know if the World Series has happened yet,
Well, the Cubs didn't make it to the World Series. They got knocked out by the Mets.
they were statistically pretty likely to win this time. So that was at least close enough. Also, Miami didn't have a team back then. Now they do.
So to close out the episode, I am going to sing the Mets rally song for our viewers.
All right.
To close out the episode. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and we'll meet the Mets. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I do not know the rest of the song. Goodbye, everybody.
Significant shrinkage.